I'm your host, Carolyn Solo, LCSW, EMDR therapist, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me. Hi, friends, and welcome to episode 64 of the Future Template Parent Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Carolyn Solo, PhD, LCSW, EMDR consultant, and mom of 3 daughters. Thank you for joining me. Well, today's episode is going to not exactly be what I planned, but here we go. The title of today's episode is Why I Have No Choice But to Be an EMDR Intensives Only Therapist. So I'm going to go a little bit off script, and I'm going to talk about how my week this week kind of fell apart with my kids, and why that happening made me realize even more that intensives are the only way that I can organize my therapy practice, and why I'm so grateful for them as an option. So, a little bit of background. A lot of you know that I have an autistic kiddo. She is entering second grade. Her first day of school will be Monday. My 5-year-old is also entering kindergarten on Monday, and my 3-year-old is starting preschool for the first time on Monday. So we have a lot going on August 26th. So with my autistic kiddo, the second half of first grade, so last year, was really rough. We told her in December, like right before Christmas, that we were going to be moving to Vermont in the summer, which is where we are now. She really took that hard. We knew it was going to be difficult for her. Change is tough for any kid, but for her, she was, it just felt like so much. Plus, she's old enough that the weight of it really could hit her. My 5-year-old, has been nervous, but she hadn't started elementary school yet. So, all of her friends from preschool were all moving on to different schools anyway. Felt like probably feels like a little bit more natural of a change for her. And of course, my 3-year-old, who was 2.5 then, had no idea. She was just like, yay, Vermont, because we go here on vacation. My oldest kiddo also hates snow and cold and the winter. Vermont has snow, cold, and the winter. Of course, my husband and I love it, which is one of the reasons why we're moving here. We love winter sports. We hate the heat. We love that Vermont is like one of the number one climate refugee states as global warming gets worse. My 3 and 5-year-old love the outdoors and the snow. As my oldest will tell you, she's an indoor kid. So summer stress. So the move was impending for the whole spring, and she just kind of fell apart at the end. Like, we had to take her out of school for a 3-week chunk in April after some stuff escalated at school, and she actually threatened a teacher, which of course they didn't. They rightly interpreted that as, a clear expression of her stress levels, not that she was actually a danger, because she's not. But I will tell you, I thought a lot when that happened about what if my child were a Black boy, and how would the same behavior have been interpreted. So a little side note there, but the privilege of whiteness, the privilege of being female, the privilege of having, parents who are well off and can advocate for you, and you're in a resourced school district. I was just very aware of all that. But so, she was getting close to what we call autistic burnout, which, if you don't understand what that is or don't know what that is, not familiar, basically the stress load builds up in their nervous system and accumulates over time. Autistic children are often masking in school, and my child has a kind of autism, the PADA profile, in which kids don't often have some of those more stereotypical autistic behaviors. And also my child's very verbal, and she's very bright. So she scored high on like a lot of cognitive tests. She was learning how to read fine, but she's not very social. She has a lot of developmental delays, potty training being the big one. She really struggles with emotional regulation. She has a lot of sensory sensitivities, really struggles with demands being put on her, which is sort of the hallmark of PDA, persistent demand avoidance profile of autism. So you can imagine how school is really tough, right? And then, the added stressor of moving to a place she didn't want to be, a lot, right? And so this summer has also been very stressful. We actually moved. We ended up staying in 4 different places over the course of the summer. When we first moved, we stayed in, 6. 7, I'm being a little overly specific, but on our drive up here, we stayed in a hotel one night because it's a long drive. And then we stayed in an Airbnb for several nights because we were waiting for our stuff on the truck to arrive from the movers. Then we moved into our place where we're living now, our rental house that we're going to be in for a couple of years. And then we went to Minnesota on vacation to visit my in-laws. So that was another place. Then we got back to the rental house, finally unpacked. Then we drove to Maine to visit my family and stayed in a couple of hotels along the way there. So 7 different places. And we got back from that trip 2 weeks ago. I don't think any of those trips were a bad idea. I think actually they were good ideas. They were good. They broke up the summer for us. The kids were excited about them. They were really fun things that they did. And travel is super stressful and dysregulating. And we were coming back not to the home that they knew well, but to this new home. So lots of stress. Then this past week, so my daughter's birthday, her 8th birthday is August 27th coming up. And she had it in her mind that she was going to celebrate her birthday on the day. We didn't realize this exactly because it turns out that school here in Vermont starts the day before her birthday, August 26th. Back in Philadelphia, it starts after Labor Day. So we had to break the news to her that school was going to start before her birthday. She was not happy at all. She was really upset. Luckily, silver lining, her former nanny, who's like, she's been with us since our oldest was born, basically. They're super close to her, but obviously she was staying in Philadelphia. But she came up to stay with us for this week. And we thought she was staying through my kid's birthday. And then my nanny's nieces, who are my 2 oldest kids' best friends, we thought were also coming up with her. So a couple of blows there. We found out that my nanny couldn't stay through her birthday. She had to go back earlier. And we're like, but okay, great. Like the nieces will be here. And then when our nanny arrived, the nieces, my kids' best friends, weren't with her. They're not coming up until today, the start of the weekend. And they're leaving on Sunday. So we're celebrating my kid's birthday tomorrow on the 24th, not on the 27th like she wanted. The people that she thought were staying for certain lengths of time were not. Like, it was just like disappointment after disappointment. And we've tried to kind of make up for it with different things. But just the accumulated stress was so much. And then the icing on the cake, yesterday was an elementary school orientation at her new school. It was Thursday yesterday. She's starting school on Monday. Maybe. And we were really nervous about this new school. She's, already feeling overwhelmed, but we got there. She was happy to go on the tour with the other kid from her class who took her. And we were really surprised that she so happily went off on the tour and didn't want us to go with her. And then we decided we would take a little walk to visit her new 2nd grade teacher. And that was fine. Penelope told her I hate winter. And the teacher was like, oh, yeah, well, that's tough, but you're not the only one, blah, blah, blah. And then the teacher had a nice activity for all the kids to do. There were more kids coming in to visit after we left. Their cubbies hadn't been selected yet. So the teacher had a bunch of like light bulb stickers that were big enough for kids to write their names on so they could choose one and then choose their cubby instead of them being assigned by the teacher. And so my daughter was there first of all the kids. So she picked the pink one in the color that she really, really liked. And she was writing her name on it and she messed up her name. And there were no other pink light bulb stickers in there. And for some other kids, they would be able to kind of shrug this off, move on. For her, it was just too much. She ran screaming out of the classroom, screaming down the hallway, had a dysregulated meltdown for about 45 minutes in the hallway of her new school while I was sitting there next to her crying and trying to soothe her. And she was screaming at me, that was the worst decision you've ever made moving here. So, who knows what will happen on Monday? But that's kind of what I've been dealing with this week. And it's been a lot. It's been hard. And I've also been trying to actively be present for this launch of my group, this launch period, and trying to manage all this as well. So in the midst of all this difficulty, I was reflecting on, I was like, shoot, got to record the podcast. What am I going to talk about this week? And I thought, wow, am I grateful for intensives, right? Thank God for intensives, given all the stuff that's happened. Well, number one, I haven't worked all summer. And I have enough reserves financially from intensives to be able to do that. And that meant that I could be present for my kiddos during this extremely challenging transition, right? And also, I didn't have to tell lots and lots and lots of clients, I'm going to be gone for 2 months and then I'll be back and find them referrals and then maybe lose them because I was moving and blah, blah, blah. That was not an issue. I have a couple people that are continuing with me, but certainly not an entire client roster, right? Because I'm rebuilding my practice here in Vermont. That's always been my intention. And I'm rebuilding it only taking intensives. That's it, except for the few one-to-one clients that I decided to keep from Philly. I'm only doing intensives. And the experience I had yesterday with my daughter at school just affirmed that decision 1,000-fold. I need to be available for her and frankly for all my kids. My other 2 kids are starting new schools as well, and they're each starting kindergarten and preschool for the first time. So I'm pretty sure my 3-year-old thinks that preschool means that mom goes with her at this point, even though we've discussed that. So Monday morning is going to be a shit show all around, okay? Like, what are the things I need to be available for? Like, the school calling me. I had her IEP meeting today, and I said, look, you call me when anything happens, and I will be there. Like, don't tell her, well, your mom can't come. I will be there. That's why I have cleared my schedule as much as I have. There are going to be days where she refuses to go, and I need to be home with her. I'm going to have to schedule around her occupational therapy appointment, her regular therapy appointment, maybe psychiatry. We might have to consider that. Developmental peds. On top of all the normal kiddo appointments. I think we're going to have to add speech and language this year, which we didn't have prior. How am I supposed to bring her to all those appointments if I, have 8 clients a day, 5 days a week? We live in a less resourced area now. Fewer things than there were a bajillion therapists when I was in the Philly area. Now I'm in Vermont, and there are less than half of the population of Vermont is less than half of the population of Philadelphia. Like way less than half. So obviously there aren't as many amazing play therapists around, amazing occupational therapists around. I'm going to have to travel more to bring her to those appointments. Like a lot of the professionals I'm looking at are in Burlington, which is about 45-minute drive from us. So, that's going to be a 3-hour, 4-hour chunk out of the day whenever I take her to one of those appointments. How would I do that multiple times a week if I was seeing 40 clients a week? It's possible also that she's going to go fully into autistic burnout and need to be home for an extended period like she was last spring. Someone's got to be home with her. Even if she might be spending a lot of that time playing Minecraft, she can't be alone in the house. And then I have my other 2 kids who need to be dropped off and picked up, and those are at different times in different places. Not to mention they're going to have their usual kiddo doctor and dentist and who knows what else appointments, right? So, gosh, the scheduling alone is baffling. And, frankly, I need time for my own self-care during all of this, right? We moved to Vermont partly because of the beautiful outdoor opportunities that are so important to me and my husband. I need to be able to be doing those things so I can stay sane for everything else that is going on with my children. Like I said, working a 9 to 6 Monday through Friday therapist job, well, there's just no fucking way, excuse my language, getting the not clean rating on this podcast. So yeah, thank God for intensives, right? So all this to say, what's your why? Okay, why do you need to make this change? I just gave you a lot of detail about my why that's become clearer than ever this week. But there's a reason in your life for you, more than one reason, that you are interested in intensives, in making intensives part of your practice. It's time to stop thinking about it and start doing it, okay? My 12-week program that I have been talking about, starting the first week of September, has just 3 slots left as of today, okay? And the price will go, as of today, Friday the 23rd, okay? And as of August 30th, as of midnight on August 30th, the price is going to go up $500, okay? The price is what it is now through the 29th. That's the launch period. After the launch period ends, it's going up $500. Do not miss out, okay? Please book a consult call to chat more with me about the program. I'm going to put the link to my Calendly in the show notes so you can book. That call is free, okay? Just ask me whatever questions you want. But if this sounds like something you need in your life, you need this flexibility like I've been describing that I need, please reach out to me and let's talk, okay? I want to see you in this program. I want to support you on this journey. It's possible for you to have a lifestyle that can support the ups and downs and stressors and changes and everything that you need or you have in your life. Okay, please let me walk with you on this journey. I am so excited. So thank you as always for listening today. Today I talked a little bit about what's going on in my life and why it's affirming for me 1,000-fold over why intensives are the way. Okay, please, 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 like I said, the Calendly link for a free consult will be in the show notes. You can always reach out to me on Instagram at Future Template Parent. Please be sure to subscribe to my email list and get the podcast in your inbox every week. www.futuretemplateparent.com/IG if you haven't done that already. So thank you as always for tuning in. I look forward to talking to some of you on consult calls, and I'll talk to you next week on the podcast. Everyone be well, and good luck with back to school, all you parents who are out there struggling through it, just like we are in my house. Gosh, September is brutal. As much as we're happy the summer's over, September is its own beast. So I see you, parents. I see you.